is a new feature which is implemented in the software. So is it tyranny of an individual and not of a group?
So, is negative freedom tyranny of the individual, not of the group? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is, again, getting into how you would actually go about implementing negative freedom. So the problems with positive freedom are sort of theoretical, and the problems with negative freedom actually seem to be more practical. It's very difficult to define what the scope of freedom is so that it can apply to each individual without impinging on everyone else. I accept that that's a problem, and I'm not sure how within any sort of political community you would define it in an appropriate way so that one person's freedoms don't cover up everyone else's. It's what Rawls says, and it's probably Rawls' fault, not mine. What Rawls says about having this scope of freedoms that are compatible with the same scope for everyone else is extremely difficult to understand, really, how you measure the scope of someone's freedom and how you make them equal. So while certainly that's a good point, yes.
Okay, so we only have time for one last question. Sorry that we don't have more time. It's a very engaging discussion, but here's the last question.
Do you think there's an essential difference if the restriction is you have to do, like in your slavery license, or in the advertisement clause of the original BSD, or it is a special you mustn't, like in the GPL?
So is the essential difference whether the restriction is you have to do something or you have to not do something? I think the only way of telling whether, so an action's an action, right? So if I step over here, that can be considered as I moved over there, or it could be considered as I didn't stay here. Now, we're more inclined naturally to think of that as I moved over there because the natural state for me is to remain here. So in order to determine what is an action and what is an inaction, you need to have a sort of natural state. Yeah, so
if the restriction is the state that you mustn't kill your neighbor, I think it's another thing, like you have to do 20 hours common work a week. You see what I mean?
Yes, I do. And you know, in most everyday scenarios, the sort of the resting place, the natural condition is easy to determine. But there's a paper by Hillel Steiner called, I think it's On Threats and Offers, something like that, where he's talking in a slightly different context, and he makes what I think is a convincing case for, at least on a philosophical level, saying it's very difficult to determine where the natural resting level is. Now, you can probably apply it in everyday life without a problem, but if you're trying to start from the most abstract level and work your way down, it can be a bit tricky. I can't prove that to you now, but I'll try and give you the reference to the paper if you're interested. Thank you.
All right, well, let's give the speaker another round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you.